When you fuck around with a 20-million-year-old frozen Antarctic lake, you're gonna find out. And these scientists sure did. You see, on top of Antarctica totally having pyramids, alien bases, and advanced ancient structures no one can explain, just a theory, may or may not be true, it also, as any other continent on Earth does, has lakes. Except we don't think much of them because, well, they're frozen and just kind of blend in with the rest of the frozen tundra down there. Well, Lake Vostok in Antarctica is one of those lakes, discovered by radar in 1974 by Russian scientists 4 kilometers beneath the surface, and was later officially confirmed in 1993. But subglacial lakes like these are interesting because they can act as a bit of a time capsule, preserving whatever's down there for millions of years, and sometimes might release something that nature intended to keep hidden, which is allegedly what happened when the scientists breached the ice lake several years later for the first time in 20 million years. The divers who went down are said to have encountered something that we've never seen before, a 10-meter long 14-tentacle squid that was unlike any other creature on Earth. The squid released a toxin which ended the lives of a few of the divers before they actually ended up capturing it and bringing it up to the surface. As expected, once this new creature was reported, it was seized by government officials who took it in for study, and the scientists were told to not talk about it. And when Russian officials tell you to not talk about something, you don't talk about it. Rumors have it they experimented heavily on this organism after they found out it was sentient, like an intelligent species living in our ocean. And everything was very hush-hush classified about it, so not much more was reported on it. This is the tale of Organism 46b, which many insist is just a rumor, a fictional story that circulated the internet for many years. Which, to be fair, there isn't much info about this, and it could very well just be a creepypasta post that went viral. Organism 46b is quite the story. That is, until scientists officially discovered this in 2023. A massive squid-like creature with 20 arms discovered deep in the waters of Antarctica, eerily similar to what Organism 46b is said to have looked like. And this find is legit, totally real and verified. Look, even Earth posted about it, which sounds pretty official to me. Called the Antarctic Strawberry Feather Star, or this name, found as deep as 6,500 feet or 2 kilometers underwater. The truth is, there are a lot of creatures in our oceans that we just have no idea what they are. We really don't know what's down there. As a matter of fact, we've explored more of the surface of the moon than we have of our own ocean floor. And frozen lakes and glaciers that have been sealed off for millions of years can potentially preserve prehistoric organisms and creatures that aren't even supposed to be around anymore. Which kinda happened when a giant iceberg the size of Chicago, iceberg A84, broke off a glacier in Antarctica, revealing a thriving ecosystem underneath. Completely cut off from our world for hundreds of years, several entirely new, undocumented species were discovered, including huge sea sponges, corals, sea spiders, glowing worms, and a whole bunch of others. And this was from just one small section of the ocean. We can only imagine what sort of creatures are lurking in the deepest reaches. One very alarming trait researchers have observed in many of these newly discovered deep-sea creatures is they're big. Dare I say, massive. That's because the ocean is a buoyant medium, meaning the downward pull of gravity experienced on land is largely minimized underwater. As such, animals don't collapse under their own weight as they would on the surface. Couple that with millions of years of well-preserved evolution protected from surface-level catastrophes, and you get the most gigantic creatures on Earth, like the blue whale, topping the official list of the largest animals on Earth, which can be up to 30 meters long. But it turns out the blue whale might have some competition that completely dwarfs it in comparison. When an ultra-low frequency sound was recorded in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile in 1997, known as the bloop. This is what it sounded like. This sound was so insanely loud it was picked up by instruments all around the world. Scientists had no idea what could have possibly produced the sound and still can't explain it to this day. The only logical explanation they could think of was that it came from a large marine mammal. But judging by the deepness and pitch of the sound, this creature was much bigger than anything in existence. Assuming similar noise-making capabilities to a blue whale, the bloop would have to be made by an animal more than 76 meters in length. That's 2.5 times bigger than the biggest blue whale ever recorded, which is already just mind-bogglingly enormous, but somehow it's possible that something even bigger than that may have actually been detected in April 2024, where global radar maps captured an enormous, unexplainable underwater mass that appeared to once again come from Antarctica, with huge waves up to 25 meters high in a highly concentrated area of the ocean, seen moving upwards along the coast of Africa and continued to get bigger. And well, big is an understatement. This thing is colossal, the size of several countries combined. And again, researchers had no clue what this was, and it just disappeared into the depths again 2 days later. Of course, a Google search will probably tell you this was a glitch or a mistake in the radar system or something, so have at it. But the truth is, the vast majority of our oceans remain unexplored, and they take up around 70% of the entire world. Like, we barely even know what sort of creatures live in the largest ecosystem of our own planet. And we're constantly coming across crazy anomalies like these that tell us maybe organism 46b wasn't as ridiculous a story as we once thought. Perhaps the melting glaciers of Antarctica are in fact releasing giant prehistoric sea squids and bloops and other ancient creatures once considered myths back into our present day ecosystem that we are not ready for. Kraken confirmed in 5 years. Let's make it happen.
Ready. Fight.
Psalms 104, verse 25. So is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping, innumerable, both small and great beasts among. Yeah, the Most High have many creatures we haven't seen, much less heard of. Okay, there's a lot of, from giant squids to you name. It's a lot out there that we haven't seen under the sea. That's why a lot of black people don't go in the waters. Yeah, that's it. All right.
Game over.